Is the unnamed tavern named unnamed tavern? Is unnamed tavern named unnamed tavern, or is it a tavern that's not been named?
Surprise, surprise. More
Mr.
legal
Poor
stuff.
Impulse Control.
Yes. Likely be facing deposition in lawsuit over deadly Tesla autopilot crashes.
Now,
to
hold
the
on.
surprise of nobody.
I was told that by 2020 there would be a fleet of over 1 million auto taxis flawlessly driving between any two locations in the entire continental United States without any crashes. Are you telling me that here, in the year of our Lord, 2023, not only do we not have auto taxis, but that the autopilot is killing people?
I do recommend, if you see a Tesla on the road, to be very cautious of it.
It's because of the Roe v.
of
versus Wade.
of those cars to be driven by people that allow the car to do dangerous things. Now, I can tell you that there are places in Australia where when people see one of those cars, they have a word which is not nice to say. But nevertheless, Tesla is one of those examples where if Musk says something, it's almost guaranteed to be a lie, or at best to be misleading. Which is why, again, I think there was a giant data leak from Tesla of the documented safety things which they weren't reporting, that I think the company and various people need to be held accountable to. Teslas are dangerous cars, unreliable, and if you have one, I'm sorry, but you should consider getting a different vehicle.
Reasonable. So
I think so. Now we need to start looking at Elon with the same lens we were looking at people like Elizabeth Holmes, that Sam Bankman guy. Same lens.
Sam
we need to
Bankman-Fried.
start looking at Sam Bankman-Fried. Yeah, Sam. I got the first name right. So we just start looking at Elon with through that same lens, because people are already getting hurt, but no one's doing something about it. I am quite surprised there are no whistleblowers coming to the front, like from the company itself.
We know from the data leak that the company actively train their representatives to not put anything in writing, to respond to reports from owners of safety problems in verbal only, unless legally compelled to put it in writing. And we know that
in certain
Tesla does not, in many states where they don't have mandatory reporting laws, does not report safety. You'll see things like a car valuation magazine say, with regards to Tesla reliability and safety, that they don't have enough data because Tesla deliberately withholds information there. Many car companies, understanding the PR as well as legal requirements, will aggressively recall something if there's a hint of a trade of a potential flaw that needs to be done. Tesla, on the other hand, covers it up, and they use a cult of personality to try to get the Tesla owners into silence.
Not reporting,
as well as not reporting it.
If you're curious to know about some of the stuff that's gone on with Tesla when it comes to like repairing and what they can and cannot do, and what Tesla will and will not do to its own quote unquote customers, go watch any just Google search, or you don't even have to Google, YouTube search right to repair Tesla. You will find nothing but garbage, like how their customer service functions, them like basically stealing from people, preventing them from using their cars, shutting off their charging. Go look.
Well, even before
don't sit there and say, what about Chevrolet? They had this problem, and Toyota had this problem. That's a whataboutism which sort of admits you've got no argument.
Yeah.
One thing is, the stealing from Elon isn't a new thing. For a while, the way that PayPal funded itself, because it didn't have a high enough volume of transactions, was that it would just just close people's accounts and pocket the money that they had in there.
Wow. Yeah, that's happened. Yes, that's happened.
Yep.
And
That was
also,
the policy.
yeah, this is on the same lines of what like Theranos did. What they did was like that their device that used to collect their blood samples, they somehow defined it as something that wouldn't come under FDA approval or FDA guidelines. Like they would keep it out of the reach of the rules and regulations that are required for medical devices. They would say it's not a medical device. And I think so that's what's happening with Elon Musk and Tesla cars at the moment. They are trying to use some loophole to keep the cars and the data that they have and the crash data they have away from transport agencies or ombudsman or whoever. I think so it's about time that the transport agencies in America or wherever they're getting manufactured, they go down, just stroll down, someone who knows what they're doing. And there are people who know what they're doing. They're like, and
Yeah.
go down, stroll down, and have a walk through their manufacturing
Yeah.
facilities.
And I think, the case, Musk there's a video of him saying to engineers that effectively that Tesla without this autopilot self-driving stuff is a zero value company. And given their safety problems, given their inability to even achieve a realistic level 3 driving system, this is why I personally wouldn't pay, more than $10 a share for Tesla. I'm thinking about for a view of if Tesla went bankrupt and a bankruptcy judge is dissolving the assets, that's probably about as much value as you have out of it. There's some useful tools out of the thing.
Okay, but Mr. Sears brings up an interesting question. What if it's not an automobile or a car? What if it's a private conveyance? And what if no one involved here is driving, they're just traveling? And they don't consent to any of this liability?
Then, well, first of all, there is an owner, right? Even if the owner is Tesla that manufactured it, there's somebody responsible for the vehicle. Just like if you fail to set your parking brake and you fail to set your parking brake and your car rolls downhill and hits somebody, you're not in the vehicle of conveyance, but you're responsible.
So fun fact about that, Tesla also doesn't really sell you their cars. You rent a Tesla. You don't get to really own it. Wow. So they would be the ones that would be responsible in that situation. It's one of those, they're trying to have their cake and eat it too, but I'm gonna read this real quick. It says, Elon Musk may have to answer detailed questions regarding a fatal 2018 Tesla crash where autopilot was involved. Judge Everett Pennypacker has ordered Musk to give a 3-hour deposition in a lawsuit over the crash, which killed Apple engineer Walter Huang? I don't know how to pronounce the last name.
On an intersection on Highway 280 near 85, where they were redoing the lanes, and visually you had to pay attention because the lines went this way and the road went this way. Now, this Apple engineer was somebody who was in pure engineering form, was testing Tesla's capabilities. He actually reported this problem repeatedly and was sort of doing diagnosing of the problem. So people would suspect that his crash, sadly it is, was him not saying, this is a bad place, I'm gonna take full control over it, but seeing just how far the car would veer off before trying to correct it. And sadly for him, he failed to correct it in this fatal crash. According to what I've seen. I know the intersection, I know that area that it crashed in. I actually even saw the wreck later on as they were doing the
wow,
he'd been taken away, but that's the scuttlebutt on the Silicon Valley about what this person was doing. I'm sure if there's a trial, some of this will come out.
When Walter, go ahead.
Oh, so did anyone hear about the initial argument that Musk's lawyers used to try to get out of this deposition?
Oh, we haven't gotten that far yet.
Or I didn't know we were getting to that. Sorry.
No, go ahead.
Chesh, go ahead.
No.
So his lawyer suggested that he shouldn't have to be deposed on his statements in this interview Because the interview itself might have been a deep fake. Like an hour-long deep fake from 2016. Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Super plausible.
Right.
This is on the same
And,
level of
it's
Andrew
not like-
Tate's lawyers saying that he's playing a character.
Yeah. And it's not like the news agency or the interviewer didn't do their due diligence and record everything to when they were setting up this interview and won't have like emails and documents
it
and
was in
shit
public.
or a contract signed.
It was-
You know, if Elon Musk comes on the scene and talks, this is what is
Even if
going
they
to happen.
didn't have that,
Nah.
there was a live
nah.
audience. There was a live audience. Thousands of people watched it happen in real
They're
time with their own
blind.
2 eyeballs. Maybe that whole audience was a
And-
deep fake too. Who knows?
And,
They were all just a CGI
and
crowd.
Musk, there's plenty of record on there that Musk has promised that they have capabilities that are available today about Tesla's auto driving and going from San Francisco to New York with no hands and all this sort of stuff. That this is the capability they have today. He's not going to be very successful in trying to say that one particular piece is deepfake because it is something which is
all over the
promoted.
place. There's also what my favorite thing that I'm seeing both about Trump and about Elon Musk. It's the same kind of cult of personality situation. It's the same kind of they're in legal trouble situation. And the best argument that people have is incompetency. Elon is too incompetent to be responsible for the company he runs.
I mean, that
As
might
if
actually
that's
be
an
his best
excuse.
defense, is that he needs
Right?
a conservatorship because he's clearly unhinged.
Right.
This is why I say he's poor. He's a Mr. Poor Impulse Control.
Yeah.
And that he says things which are often demonstrably false. Whether he believes it or not is a different question. So continue on, Josh, on what you're
Yes.
talking about.
Walter, when his which killed Apple engineer Walter when his Model X plowed into a highway median south of San Francisco. Attorneys for his family want to grill the tech CEO over statements he made about autopilot's capabilities in years before the incident. Most notably, the plaintiffs point to a 2016 Code Conference interview shown below, where Musk maintained that Tesla cars with autopilot could already drive with greater safety than a person. They are also concerned about the 2016 self-driving demo video that engineers testified was staged to show features that weren't ready. The implication, of course, is that Walter was falsely led to believe he could trust his Model X to drive down the highway without being ready to take over. Tesla says that the autopilot was engaged at the time of the crash, but also maintains that Walter ignored 3 car warnings to put his hands back on the steering wheel. The National Transportation Safety Board, or NTSB, says that Walter was playing a phone game at the time. Tesla tried to resist the deposition by claiming that Musk couldn't remember the associated statements, and that his popularity could prompt the creation of AI-based deepfake videos. Pennypacker rejected this argument as a deeply troubling tactic that could effectively shield any well-known person from responsibility for their statements.
Now, I would say that that rumors about him doing a testing are just rumors and not legal, legal advice or facts.
Or statements, yeah.
Nevertheless, I think given the safety issues relating to Tesla, I would think that a recall of all Teslas that have some level of driving assist be in order.
There's a question in the chat that
especially
just
for those people that don't have Teslas and have to drive with those things.
Yeah, Dr. Tapioca Weasel says, I'm not gonna lie, I wouldn't be shocked if Teslas today were safer than human drivers. When was this discussed? The initial accident took place in, I believe, let me double check. I'm pretty sure it said 2018.
I'm going to point out one thing.
Well, let me finish.
Human drivers currently do not spontaneously
Let
combust.
me finish! 18 was the crash. 2016 was the, when Elon Musk made the claim. So, please, go ahead.
2 years before the crash.
Yeah, I'm just saying, so far, human drivers don't spontaneously combust. Teslas do.
This is also true.
So.
It is, and I'm sure within their documentation, there is a line that says, you must maintain vigilance at all times, stuff as a CYA. The issue really is that the Teslas create dangerous situations for other cars. It would be one thing if they just plow in themselves, but they also run into other vehicles. They create hazards. And surely, I'm not being hyperbolic. When I see one of those Teslas that Australians call a C-mobile, I maintain extra vigilance, expecting that vehicle could, under so-called driver assist, do stupid things, and more than just drivers making mistakes.
Right. Next on the docket, does anybody have anything else before we move on?
Don't buy a Tesla.
Do you think?